now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
The big dance is done. We've got a winner here to talk about it, and our butts are kicked. But even with that, you're at the place. It's Pensado's place.
Yay. Every week, what gets me excited and gets me in the mood for the show is the music you're hearing, and that's Leo Saramago out of Brazil, our boy. And if you need any music at all, check with Leo, right, Herb?
Good dude.
We can't start without that.
No, we actually tried to replace, not replace it, we're going to do a remix version of it, and it's just our thing.
Thank you, Leo.
Love you, man. Best. Well, hombre.
Tengo nada.
Okay, exactly.
I mean, you guys came through really amazing for David. And those of you that don't know David, you'll find out soon enough. But
should we get it going?
It was a great show. You heard like the moments, everything. You're a genius. I'm telling you, man. It was amazing.
We had well, let's talk about it in a second. All right. Hey, everybody. Yeah, we look like we look. But thanks for joining us. We haven't quite recovered from the big weekend, and it was a really big weekend. But it was important to us to suit up and show up and come see you.
Yeah.
At least speak with you for a bit. So lots of folks who make this happen. You know most of them. The Blackbird Academy, Vintage King, Lander, Fab Factory, DTS, Avid and Recording Connection. And there were others who were huge for the award show itself, specifically Augsburger, Audionamics, huge, Talisha Romero, superstar. Gibson Guitar stepped up so big, made the event really nice, so appreciated. And what they did for David, can't beat it. Teddy and the gang at Barefoot, Briston at Burl, Shinola, very interesting conversation with them and what they did for us. The P&E Wing and Marine, as always. Westlake Pro, a stunning partner of ours who just doesn't fail us. So Dave and I thank you so much. A quick program note. Remember, Dave is teaching and I will be speaking at the Blackbird Sessions on October 24th through 28th. Hit karma at theblackbirdacademy.com. If you can, trust me when I tell you this, if you can, be a student for this one. The only time Dave Pensado has that where he can really give himself is in these sessions, and it will, trust me when I tell you, I've seen it for years. It will move you forward dramatically in your understanding, your skill set, and ultimately your earning power will increase. You will get philosophies that you really can't get anyplace. There's a reason why he is the largest online teacher in the globe in this space, and the reason that I figured out what to do with it, because he is an absolute badass, and you get a week of badassness that you really want. So if you can do it, do it. You'll get Gear Expo Nashville at the top. I speak to the class, but you get a chance to really spend time with this dude in an incredible setting, and your career is gonna really jump. So again, hit karma at theblackbirdacademy.com, and you will be there. So I tell you what we should do. Why don't we bring on our guest and we'll just talk about
let's do
everything. So we are really happy to have one of the winners of this year's A.I.R Award, a spectacular guy that we watched in this town for a while. Please welcome to the desk from Larrabee Studios, one of 2016 A.I.R Award winners, Chris Galland. How are you, man?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Congrats, bro.
Thank you very much.
All right, so let me clean up some homework first. Okay. So just want to explain to you something really quickly. The award show requires a lot of choreography. Yep. There's probably 7 teams the night of. There's the content capture team, business development team, backstage talent handling team. There's the on-air host. There are graphics going on. Things are firing. There's a lot. There's about 8 pods backstage, all doing things to make stuff happen. And sometimes mistakes happen. And in our award show, the mistakes turn into charming things, somehow, some way. Yeah, and in this particular award show, we had 3 winners and only heard 2. So 2 things happened that are very special. 1, Chris was really cool about it, but 2, it's the fastest I've seen Dave Pensado move in 11 or 12 years. He came around the corner like the Kool-Aid guy. It's supposed to be great. And so we thought right away we wanted to rectify that and have him on the show. So here's what didn't get a chance to happen during the award show is that enthusiastically, we are super happy to present you with your AIR Award.
Thank you very much, guys. This means a lot to me. Really appreciate it.
Well done. Well done.
Well deserved.
So
well
Chris
deserved.
is at Larrabee Studios.
Yeah.
He's a favorite in the city. It's easy to call around and see how people react. It's kind of interesting how small the community is in LA, right?
Very small.
Everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
There's,
yeah.
what would you say, 50 people?
Maybe.
There's like the group, you know,
That's
of
right.
like the main players. And
That's right. And hard to get in.
It is. It is. It's hard to get people to give you an opportunity. It's hard to earn people's trust. These things take a long time of constantly proving yourself.
So a lot of people don't know this, Herb, but I actually applied for the job being Manny American's assistant.
And what happened?
Well, he got it. So this is my way of like putting closure to this whole really traumatic.
Because you've been
experience.
scarred.
I've scarred.
You've been scarred for
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was willing to pay big bucks to get the job.
Didn't work out.
He got it because he's better than me.
So how long you been there? Give them and us a sense of Chris's day as what you do in the day. Is it all the same thing? Does it change? Give us a look.
My day, when I head into work after this, I'll be wearing a lot of different hats.
Like what?
I think I have to put new drums in a song today that the producer did, and try and figure out if he sent us all the right parts. There's 2 other guys also that work at Larrabee. We're constantly trying to stay organized with people sending us songs every day, and you know, making sure we have everything. We don't have a set calendar. It's very fluid. It's very every hour. What song we're gonna mix could change, and we've got to be prepared for that. So it's a lot of getting stuff ready to be able to move quickly.
Right.
And there's a bit of an art to that. And that's allows Manny to juggle all the projects that he has going on.
Right, right. But I think, Dave, you know this, that, because I see it with Leandro, there's an invaluable sort of context that somebody who knows your rhythm and works with you well, that allows you to do your craft better. It's hard to, you couldn't function without it.
Well, we were talking earlier, Chris and I, and I'm a bit of a cripple when it comes to being an engineer. I like to focus on the creative things and let my assistant, in this case, Leandro Hidalgo, take care of the technical things, like getting sessions organized, like getting it organized the way I like, so my creativity is enhanced. I don't like to think about things. I like, you know, and Chris is the best at it. Chris and I work together.
That's the flow we
bit.
aim for. We always talk about the flow. I'm always trying to prevent Manny from having to think technically. That's the main part of my gig. Exactly. Allow him to be creative.
But along the way, you're learning things, and you're learning about your mixing skills, and you're obviously learning from people who are amazingly talented, but you're also getting a chance to do things, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, oftentimes we get a set of files that doesn't sound anything like what they want.
Right.
And that's very frustrating to a mixer. So I might have to dig in and be like, all right, what do I have to do to make these parts sound like this reference mix? And what tools are going to work well to get things to sound a certain way? And then you kind of learn your taste along the way. You know, it's not going to sound exactly like what they had. So that's where there's a little room for you to find out what it is you like.
Right.
Chris, you went to Berkeley. A school can't teach you everything, even a great school like Berkeley. What did you encounter your first year that you didn't expect to have happen, that kind of threw you a curveball? What was something that you just can't prepare for, really?
You're not going to know the people that you need to know. I didn't watch Pensado's Place because it wasn't out when I was in college, so I didn't know all of the people. I just knew what I read in liner notes and albums. So you're going to go out here and you're going to work for people who are going to tell you that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and their career's actually over and you don't know it.
Right, right.
And I got to a point like that at a number of times.
This is prior to Manny.
Prior to Manny, yeah. And, you know, finding out who the right people are that you're going to be compatible with. Right. And, you know, like that, you said, it's a very small world out here. But you don't know who those people are or how to get in touch with them.
I'm sorry, Herb. How did you deal with, like new assistants? For me, there's a period where they want to show me what they know, which is exactly what I don't need. And then there's always that moment with a new assistant where the client will go, "What do you think?" and ask my assistant, and I don't want my assistant saying anything.
Of course.
That's my job to say it. And how did you deal with all that, the unexpected psychology of the job?
I don't know. I think it's something that's a little bit innate. I mean, knowing when not to speak.
It is too.
You know, knowing when not to speak. Knowing, I mean, when your opinion is not supposed to be on the table. I don't know if that's a learned thing.
Question for you. See, I think this is why you're so good at what you do. Sometimes it's what you give, and sometimes it's what you also have to learn to just receive. Some people, you have to learn where to be quiet, because that's sometimes where you grow the most, right? When people will have you in the room because they know that you can fit in the room, then you start sitting amongst giants, and you become comfortable, and they become comfortable with you. So some of it is your skill set, and some of it is the psychology that you referred to, and you can only do that by being exposed to it and having people invite you back. Is that
fair to say? I think social skills have a lot to do with it. I think my first big assisting gig at Larrabee was with Tricky Stewart.
Oh, sure.
And so there were tons of big egos coming through that room.
You better believe it.
I would sit in the corner, and most of the people didn't know I was there until I was needed, and then I would execute whatever was asked of me as fast as I could. And if people asked me questions, I often wouldn't give them my opinion.
Sure.
I would tell them what they wanted to hear.
Sure. Yeah, you have to learn. You have to learn the ropes, right?
Yeah. What was your first big mistake? When was the first time Manny yelled at you?
Well, my first big mistake will be before Manny, and that was, honestly, you are going to be privy to a lot of information in this business, and keeping that. I let someone know some information that they shouldn't have known, and that hurt a relationship between someone I was working with and someone else.
And let me tell you how good he's gotten. He was able to tell that story, not use a name, and get the point across. That's why you won this.
I've been engineering for 15 years, and Herb gave me a client, and I'm not going to say the name, and the client came in with his girlfriend, and I met the girlfriend and everything. Well, the next day he comes in with his wife, and they looked alike, and I said, "Oh, good to see you again." And she looked me straight in the face and said, "You've never met me." Turned around, gave him the evil eye. And as you remember, that client had a little trouble after that, and it was my fault. I had to make up for that, and I to this day, I'm still kind of trying.
But the point that you're making, that I think is interesting.
You just can't do that.
Well, the other point that you're making,
I'm there to mix. Shut up and mix.
Is how nuanced it is.
Yeah.
It can be the smallest thing. Like if you're not on your game, you were just being polite.
I know, but it got me in trouble.
And it got a lot of people in trouble. But part of that reason that the community is so small is because the rules are so abject in it. Like not everybody can get in
Just
and mess
as
it
a side,
up.
I gave him a #1 record that week. So
I understand. I understand. That's why you're okay with it, right?
He got
Absolutely.
a new wife.
So Larrabee is a shop in a town full of good shops. This is my sense of Larrabee, and you tell us what you think. So there were years Dave was over there.
Yeah.
There's something always that Manny has done with Larrabee that's kept it at a really high brand level, but a really cool vibe. Like I think it's a place of creativity, and it's easy to feel creative in it, but you can go off into your own space and have your own kind of way things work. Is that a good description of it?
Absolutely. I mean, we can go the whole day without really seeing people very often.
Right, it's amazing.
You know, and
Unless
I think
you want to.
Unless you want to, and then you can go out. I mean, I like to eat in the kitchen at Larrabee because it's a little bit more social sometimes.
Right, exactly.
You know, so you can have that, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to eat in the control room and just keep working.
Yeah. Also, Larrabee's the coolest it's ever been right now.
And Larrabee's kitchen is always stocked. So cool.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, listen,
300 pounds goes to that kitchen.
You get diabetes in a heartbeat. Larrabee is really
Chris,
cool.
what percentage of your responsibilities require high-level computer skills now?
100%.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wasn't expecting that.
Knowing operating systems, knowing Pro Tools, knowing software, plugins, I was fortunate enough to have a dad who got a computer for us at a very young age, which kind of was the start of my journey into audio because I figured out how to get programs like Sonar and Cubase and Cakewalk when I was 14 or 15 years old.
Sure.
And start recording myself in my house. It goes even deeper to like, you know, figuring out how to run Fruity Loops on a Mac and then get plugins in Fruity Loops that are only for PC to run on a Mac to get a certain sound that a producer's gotten on something that they've done somewhere else. I mean, we go deep into computers on a regular basis.
Right. You have to.
I think our world is
That's what it is. Yep. Are you a musician as well?
I am, yeah. I have a strong music background. I started out playing clarinet, then guitar, then bass. Then in college, it was a lot of keyboards and vocals.
Wow. And has that been helpful in your audio space? Has that been helpful being a musician?
I think it's essential. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, the music education that I got at Berkeley, I use every day. I've used something from every single class I've taken there. Whether it's ear training to like traditional counterpoint. I mean, all that stuff comes into play. I'm constantly pulling out my piano on my phone. What's the key of this song? Is that note right? You know, that stuff's so second nature to me. I don't have to think about it. So,
see what I love about this, I'm so glad we did this, is that you now see the context, you at home, of the level and depth that somebody, assistant, intern, or runner, can have to get to the next level. Folks are bringing the noise, so if you're interested in that kind of space, it's not just showing up and say, I love this. Like you want to know, you want to study, you want to be able to, you have to be ready for the opportunity when it's presented to you. You can't get in there and hope it comes.
It's a tough job.
It's a tough job, and I think
I couldn't do it. I'm not big, humble. I couldn't do it.
And also, I think that the level of it has gotten higher.
Yeah.
In terms of the
responsibility.
Crazy. This guy plays 5 or 6 instruments, been studying forever, lays stuff out. I mean, it is the wonderful part about you and the other winners and that award is the professionals in the industry love this award. And when I was casting who to present it, I wanted people to present it that do things that will be part of what you do. So, you know, Paula, who's been vice president of major studios and that kind of stuff.
City.
Maureen with P&E Wing, you know, you guys come up and do that. And all of them revere guys like yourself that are really craftsmen. Like there's a pride that you guys have about what you do that makes you so invaluable. And that comes from inside, doesn't it? Like if you don't have that, it's hard to get it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to being in my parents' basement in bands trying to record myself. I didn't really know what mixing was. I kind of just like, hey guys, can you all go leave the room for a bit, take a smoke break, let me figure out how these parts are all going to work together. That was always my favorite part. I later found out that was mixing, but
who knew? It's like
I found that was mixing late in life.
I'm that way about sound checks. I'm like, nobody's here but me, a mixer, and the band. This is cool as hell.
Yeah, right. That's the fun part.
To this day, at 60 years old, you'll see me sitting at sound checks like this. Well, nobody knows. I'm like behind the rope.
You used to love sound checks.
I still love them, and I think part of what we're talking about is that you have to have something about this business that just turns you on. Like we're in a creative space, and we get to contribute to it. Something's got to fire you up. Yeah. Do what you need to do. Can we talk about the award show for a little bit?
Absolutely.
Chong, are you around?
I'm here.
What you doing, man? You okay?
I'm in.
All right, so
award show rehab.
So
award show rehab.
Let's say this, which is we won't bore you with this, but the Pensado team was spectacular, don't you think?
Beyond that, if there's another word.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Left to right. So many people, so many names. Chongor and Cam and Tyler and Ron Dixon. Anyways, the response that we've gotten from the awards has been, and we'll get it together and air it for you, and we're working on that now. Rather than me talk about it, what did you think about the night?
Oh man, it was such a great time.
Was it?
Yeah, it really was. I mean, just seeing everybody, I was so happy to see Andrew and Josh go up and win that award.
Sure.
Delbert, who I got to train at Larrabee, went up and won.
Did you train Delbert?
Absolutely.
Wow, how cool is that?
So very happy for all the success he's had with the Lucas Graham stuff. Yeah, I got to bring my girlfriend along.
Nice.
Got to see Drew Adams, who I haven't seen for like 5 years or so.
Good.
Yeah, he did.
His wife too.
I know. So I had a blast.
Oh, good. Chauncey?
Was there a moment that you're gonna carry with you for a while? For me, it was. The obvious one, you know, David, of course, was deep bump, but way below that, Phil X just
guitar solo.
Just I
That
had to run.
nuts.
I almost got on stage. I was heading that way.
Didn't he
Somebody
kill
stopped
it?
me.
He did kill it. Man, the bass player you guys had too. I mean, I would never be able to play that on bass, and I love to play bass, but I can't even touch like half of that stuff at all.
It's crazy.
So yeah, when you see the virtuosos like that who literally are doing things that I'll never be able to do that on guitar or bass. Doesn't matter how much I practice.
But it's amazing to watch it.
It's great.
It's amazing. Chauncey, go ahead.
That was Herb's idea to have the guitar as the feature thread that went through the show, and all those big Gibson guitars.
Oh,
As a guitar player, it was just heaven for me.
Yep.
Your take, sir, you are fundamental to how we pulled this on, and you're my right hand in creating it. So
it was such a good time.
Yeah.
When David came out, it just like,
man, there's a picture, I don't know if we have it, of his father reacting to.
Oh man, I cried when I saw that.
Yeah, and I think because we're going to air it, we're not going to go deep into it. But needless to say, we decided to ask you guys, the community, to help a fallen audio warrior. And of course, I had to herb it a little bit and put a little special sauce on it. And I think we pulled it off. And
It's actually called an herb, not a herb.
Yeah, that's
in that
right.
case.
Herbed. We herbed it.
Yeah.
We herbed and Daved it, to be honest with you. But at this stage of the game, we have raised over $10,000 for the guy. You guys have done that. And it's continuing. And we've got Music Cares and Debbie Carroll, and the Grammys gets a lot of hell unnecessarily in my view, and you can always tilt at institutions, even ours. I called Music Cares, and it took them about a nanosecond to say we will help, we will support. So huge shout out to Debbie Carroll in Nashville, Maureen Droney over there in Santa Monica. I was with the family when I first told them, and I was on stage when I told them publicly, and big step up. John McBride and what he did for this guy and his family, amazing. Why we identify with great schools. We identify with Berkeley, and we identify with Recording Connection, and we big time identify with the Blackbird Academy. But I think, back to the other stuff, I think it was just a fun night. The responses I got is that they had a great time, it was a great show. We were very hard on it. So is that your feeling? It was a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many people who want to go to Pensado Awards 4.
I don't want to think about it yet. It's too soon.
All right, you got it laid out. I got it laid out. I'm telling you.
We'll start the discussions in like November.
Yeah, I got to finance it. So anyways, we will get it together and tell you when we're going to air it. It won't be very far. We just have to clean it and scrub it. In case you're on Facebook Live and got kicked off, that had to do with using commercial music. We didn't have a bunch of control over that. So, but we'll get you a Vimeo link, and you'll enjoy it.
One of the things that is a little subtle that I'd like to bring up. I recently had something that came with a heavy dose of helplessness and hopelessness and depression.
Yeah.
And the time when you need to fight the hardest and fight the most, you're psychologically not prepared for that.
Right.
And it could be possible that one of the greatest things our community did for David was they gave him a juice of adrenaline to fight. They gave him the hope to fight. He met his heroes. He was, I don't think the gentleman felt any pain. I mean, when he stood up, I don't think he knew it because he was so, you can feel it. You can feel that. You've been in front of crowds, and our community came together, not just economically, which was very needed, but it came together in a way that inspired a young man to work a little harder in the gym. To every step he takes is full of pain, and you don't want to do that, but that's what you've got to do when you're in that position.
Can I go one step farther?
Please.
I think he was inspired. I was with him a lot, and at rehearsal, when Chris Lord-Alge went down to him and said, "Dave, my man," he later, now keep in mind, from the hotel to Sony, a lot of people don't know this, he walked over.
No shit.
He didn't take a ride. He walked over. And he said to me in the hallway later, he said, "Chris Lord-Alge said my name. I have his name on a plug-in. That's all I," and so what happened is I felt a reversal happened, and David inspired us. Like, we were doing things for him, but he kept inspiring us, inspiring you, inspired me, inspired everything. Let me say this about you, because we share personal moments. there were parts of David's struggle that reminded Dave of his struggle. We shared a moment up at Google at breakfast, where it just reminded Dave of how he fought back. So when we talk about fighters, know that the dude to my right, just a beast, and he had his own fight, and here we are, started from the bottom, and now we're here.
Yeah.
So
let's move on.
I hear you, but you don't often get a chance to. I'm the crier. I cry Geico commercials and all kinds of shit. It's just sad.
The caveman one, right?
Yeah, the metrosexual shit is just out of control. And this year for me, I was more inspired, even though the moments were more emotional. But my partner had a moment that he shared with me that was very personal, because this guy inspired us. So we are Platilero's fanboys. Yeah. This is a badass kid, man. And with all that he had to deal with, and we were doing a lot of secret stuff, when he got that Gibson guitar, and felt what Gibson did for him, man, he was just so elevated. And what a lot of people don't know is we closed the show, I'll give this away, to Let's Go Crazy, right? And people are going crazy. And at one point in time, I looked over, and he had gotten up on his walker, and he was dancing. Yeah. And I just said, I have no problems. Yeah. How can I have problems looking at that? So,
I'm with you on that.
So look, just to wrap it up, you can take it home. Number one, you are a complete badass and a superstar on his way. We are huge fans of Larrabee for any number of reasons. Yeah. Manny and I share an entrepreneurial thing, and Manny and Dave share a background. I call Manny the nuclear option, because if you want your shit to blow up, give it to him.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. And I know the kind of care he puts into who works in there. So when I called Dave about you and we talked about it, there was no hesitation whatsoever, and that's because of not just your skill set, but who you are. So we are so honored to give you that, man.
I'm very proud of you.
It is put it somewhere big and loud and take some pictures and be viral.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
DP, your name is on a lot of stuff that we've blown up. It's sitting behind us now. We just had Pensado Awards 3. We had over 1,100 people. Will and those guys are tallying impressions now, but they're in the millions. And Dave Way said to me, and then you take it home. Amongst a number of things that were said to us, people from Cuba who told us how popular we were in the country,
was a moment, wasn't it?
And they don't have internet, and people who were inspired and all kinds of stuff. And I got to say nice stuff about Dave, and Dave said nice stuff about me. Dave Way said to me, he said, Herb, one of the things that we like so much about what you and Dave do is that when we're at your event, we feel like we are better people and that we should go out and continue to be better people. And there's no other place to do it. And that was pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy.
Take us home, man.
Well, last night I was driving home. I got a call from Herb, and he's planning Pensado Awards 4 last night. I'm not making that up.
That's true.
Literally, he's planning Pensado Awards 4.
And it is fire. Sorry.
It is. And so what I'm telling you, I'm going to close with this. Get your tickets now. Don't call me the day before the awards, because I feel so bad. But, hey, man, we had a blast. It's going to be bigger and better. I don't mean to put that pressure on my partner, but he does it to himself better than I could ever do it. So we'll see you next week and next year.
Thank you, guys. Peace.